bitch is shaking the table.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Shaking the Table podcast. Thank you guys for listening every week. I hope you enjoy everything. Before we tune into what is about to happen in this episode, don't forget to review me on Apple, Spotify. I think you can review me. I don't know. But, just shout your girl out. Post me on y'all page. Post me on y'all page. No, I'm playing. But yeah, show me love so that way more people can listen and I can get this bag because this 9 to 5, honey, the ghetto. Anyway, so today is a special day because it's my god sister's birthday. And so
oh my goodness.
She just ruined the intro. And so anyway, so we were on the phone, just talking to her birthday, and we just got in our bag real quick. And I just feel like I need to, first of all, introduce Toni Ann. Hi, Toni Ann.
Hi, I'm here to shook the table because the table has been shooketh, okay? Earthquake.
Clearly not an English major, as you guys can tell. You said I'm here to shook the table, bitch. You can't, that's past tense. The table has already been shook. You're here to shake it.
Listen, I am the earthquake. This is because my shake of the table, I am the table, and I'm shook.
Yo, please. See, this is how I know she about to be on bullshit in this episode. But anyway, so her and I were just reflecting because she recently just moved. And we're just reflecting on life and how sometimes you just have to know when to let go of situations. So I think that's the theme of this episode, right, Toni? Just kind of reevaluating your life and then just knowing when to let shit go, knowing when to... when things are not serving you at all, just how to deal with that.
I'm saying, coming to terms with everything, life, people, everything that you, in your life that you just was wow, this really sucks and it's so draining.
Yes. And so I think a lot of us are in that time period now in our lives where, it's just a transition period. I don't know what it is about 2019, but I just feel like I'm in a huge transitional period. Granted, it's a positive one, right? I feel like I have a new beginning coming. I feel like same for you, right? It's a new beginning, and it just feels like there's a transformation or restoration happening, and I just love it.
It's not even about 2019. It's coming to terms with your 20s.
Yeah.
Because, your girl is 25 now, and when I was younger, I always thought about being 25. There's I say it's a mark in my life. I'm supposed to be either married or have kids. And I feel in my age group from, I'll say from 20 to 29, you're just stuck between should you be married? Should you still be your mama crib? Should you be out? Should you go out every day? Should you be do I stay back? Do I go to school? It's coming to terms to me. It just comes to terms in my 20s and be I'm 25 and it's not a rush, and I feel like I'm in a rush to get things done, and I'm going through what you said, a transition where I'm okay, different headspace, different move. I just think I was just comfortable in my situation that I was okay, I need to be uncomfortable because everything is repetitive.
Yeah.
So it's more come to terms with your 20s and stepping out of being out of a routine that you're used to. For me.
Yeah, because I feel like life has a tendency to be very routine. It's kind of monotonous. When you were in school, you go to class, you maybe go to work. If you have a job, you study, you do your homework, it's a routine that you start to build. And once you're used, we've literally been in school our whole lives. If you think about it, even though I've graduated, you've been in school your whole life. And so you've learned to kind of be a little bit disciplined and have this routine, this regimen. But then once you become an adult and you realize that I am really the captain of this ship. And either I'm going to crash the ship or I'm going to steer that bitch where it needs to go. And I just feel okay. You be God, let me drive the boat.
But that's the thing about school, and coming to terms with school, it leads into like you said, going to class every day and seeing the same amount of people, and then you're creating friendship with people that you, in turn, are now starting to outgrow.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that I've learned in the past couple of years, and that's why I kept saying is it a 2019 thing? Because I realized that because I've been out of school since 2017, but I've noticed that in 2018. in early 2019, I've like cut a lot of people off and just like tying up loose ends. Like that's kind of just been my aesthetic. Like any loose ends, anything I felt like wasn't serving me, it had to go. And so maybe it's not this year, just maybe like that's where I am in my life. I don't know.
Right, but in my life, I'm not cutting people off. I let people cut me off because I don't got time. I'm like, girl, yes, do the job for me because I don't need time for you to be texting my phone like, what's wrong with this? No. If you have to ask that question, you are problematic and you have to go.
No, don't do that. Come on. No, this needs to be addressed, Toni. I'm about to check your ass.
People are so, this is the thing about routine. People routinely treat you a certain way that they don't even realize how draining they are to you. That they have to act like, oh, even when you some people, you tell them, like, this is what's wrong, and they continuously keep doing it.
Oh, okay.
And it's being such a, like, not saying an awful person, but just, like, how most people are. I'm stuck in my ways. That's the way I grow. I need to talk to your parents then, because my mama ain't raised me like that.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you was more so saying, like, they should know what's wrong. Like, because I know that there's a perspective. I see this a lot in women, too, like, being like, oh, I shouldn't have to tell you what's wrong. You should know. I used to think like that, but life humbled me and life really taught me that sometimes you genuinely have to tell people, even if the conversation doesn't do anything for, like, on their end, if they're just, like, still stuck in their way, that's fine. Let people, like, do their own shit. But I feel like for me, I need to communicate at any point if something bothers me. And obviously it needs to be a genuine thing, not just on some petty shit like, oh, you fucking left the toilet seat up when you visited my apartment. Like, it's not gonna be dumb stuff like that, but if you've done something to really burn me, I need to, like, communicate that instead of just, like, go. Because ghosting applies to friendships, too. Like, you can ghost friends. And so for me, I'm working on, like, telling people, like, this is my issue with you. And I just don't think that this is a friendship that I'm worth. Like, if it's you, because you and I have known each other since we were, like, 12, and we used to get perms, bitch. So, scalp fried. My shit flaking the fuck up because they left the perm on too long. But that's how long we've known each other. And so, like, for you and I, you're family at this point. So you could literally, like, you would have to come in my apartment and shit on my bed for me to never talk to you. I'm not joking, for me to never talk to you again. But I think that there's some people that I'm just not willing to. Like, for you, ain't no mountain high enough, but them niggas, I'm like, nah, the valley too low. It's time.
The valley really too low, and some people just don't get it. And it's not even about, most of the time, it's about approach with certain people.
Yes.
It's like how you said, you and I know each other since we're, like, kids. So, if you text a certain way to me, I can hear your, it sounds crazy, but I can hear your voice.
No, it's not crazy.
Know the tone of voice that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Some people claim they've been so friends with these people, but don't know the tone of the voice that the person is using, and take a text message like about 1,000 when all you said was, girl, just clean the dishes. She's like, oh, she's telling me what to do. Like, no.
And that also comes from, like, not understanding their communication style, number one, because that's very important in friendships, relationship, anything. And then also, like, you can put your own, like judgment on certain situations, because there have been times where a close friend of mine maybe forgot to do something, and the way they carried it, I'm like, well, I don't assume bad intentions. I don't assume, like, she meant harm. Maybe she just genuinely forgot. But if it's somebody I really don't fuck with and I don't know how they are, like, I do have a tendency to be like, oh, are you trying to, like, did you do that on purpose, And I think that that's the problem. And we're going to get into, like, all the worst types of friendships or the types of friendships we don't like, because we made a list, y'all. But to make that point of, like, there's a certain level of trauma that comes from being in, because we talk about bad relationships causing trauma, but you can, I really genuinely think you can have PTSD from bad friendships. Don't you agree?
Carry over into other friendships where I've known girls who are supposedly friends, and because a group of girls did them a certain way, and a new friend steps into their life, they don't know how to handle that. They're like, oh, you automatically playing me, because my last friend, but I'm not that girl.
Yes.
So why are you turning on to issues? I think that one of your podcasts, because let's believe, I am a real supporter if I don't listen to the podcast, okay? One of your other friends were stating something in her podcast relating to friends and letting go, and she made such a valid point where people don't know how to treat each other in this day and age, especially because with me, I moved, and I realized with me moving, there's friends who just don't get it.
Yeah, they don't. And I think the close proximity of having people.
Now that you moved, we can't be friends anymore. Well, okay, waka waka. Okay.
Okay.
Like, grow up. Like, I have my own rights, and this carries on into people taking on their friends' issues.
Yes.
Their friends' issues. I can't be more mad at you at a situation than you are. Your boyfriend beating you up. Not to say like that's a good thing. Your boyfriend beating you up, and you want to stay with him and stuff like that. I can't be more mad at. I can talk to you, make you realize and stuff like that, and try to be there for you. But I can't be more mad at you because, baby girl, I got my own issues. I need to worry about these bills that need to be paid. I can't be stressed over you and your issues and stuff like that, or because people don't understand emotional baggage and spiritual baggage is the actual thing.
Yes.
Like, it can stress you out.
Yeah.
Like, to a T. So people need to take into account, like, you know how they say you have sex with different people, you carry on spiritual demons and whatever it is. You can carry someone's spiritual baggage on you, and it's such a heavy thing on you that you're so exhausted and so drained, and then you get fed up with that person because you keep hearing the same thing over and over again from them. Like, oh, he ain't that, he ain't doing this, da 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 da. Girl, but you gonna stay with him. The hell is you talking about?
The hell is you talking about?
There's been plenty of times I listen to friends vent, and some people just really want to vent, but I'm not in that relationship to know that, oh, the other day he put gas in your car, he bought you flowers, da da da. Spiritual baggage is a serious thing, and people need to learn how to separate their friend's issue from their own. Because you got your own baggage, and you worried about Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Tom, Dick, and Harry out here living lavish with their relationship because they just unload all their spiritual baggage on you.
I never thought about that way. That's true. But yeah, I mean, I've noticed too, like, because I talked about this on one of the episodes that talks about boundaries, being like, I was the person that wanted to help everybody, wanted to solve everybody's problem. Girl, since I did that episode, let me tell you, I ain't solved shit. I ain't Scooby-Doo. I ain't solving no mystery. I don't care what the fuck you need done. It ain't come from me. The best Western is next door. And that's what I've been telling people. The best it's above me. Because
Above me now.
I was on the phone when you said it. But no, for real, once I started to realize, like, yo, people really be coming to me with their issues for me to fix it because they know that I'm critical. Because I'm critical of myself, so I'm critical of others as well. And obviously, I know that people make mistakes because I make mistakes. I do dumb shit all the time, and my friends can judge me, and I won't give a damn because I'm still gonna be a goofy bitch. And then what? But my point here is, okay, I'm about to delete her number after this, just so you know. But no, so the point I'm trying to make is like, you in friendships, you really just have to understand like boundaries. You can't solve other people's problems, and then also like with the whole back to the PTSD comment. You really have a lot of trauma from friendships. Like, I've noticed if someone comes into my life as a friend and they're supporting me, they're, like if I need something, they're here. I start to question, and I don't know why I'm like this. Now I kind of do because I'm talking about it now, but like I start to question, like, damn, why is she being so nice to me? Or damn, why is he doing this for me or whatever? And it's like, it shouldn't even be like that. Like sometimes there are people who are genuinely loving and come into your life and they see this amazing woman that you are, and they're like, yo, I just want to be a part of your life. Like, I don't want to be a problem in your life. I want to be supportive. And for me, it's so stupid. I think that's a toxic trait of mine. Like, I have like been so hurt by people in the past that if someone is open and loving and respectful, at some point I'm like, are you being too nice to me? What you want? I think that people want something from me, or I think that people are just supporting me because they think that I'm about to blow, or like, it sounds dumb because obviously I'm not no rapper or anything like that, but I really be questioning people like, yo, why is this person supporting me this much if I don't know them? It just comes off as weird, but I need to realize that like, that's my trauma from past friendships and people crossing me and people trying me, that when God finally does bless me with amazing people, I don't need to question a blessing. I need to stop being like, why did I get this? Why is this happening? I'm not questioning nothing.
But that's understandable. You're not questioning anything. All right, so like I was saying to you from earlier in our earlier conversation, I had a friend that came here from Baltimore, like drove 14 hours with me. Like, you really know a person when you're in a car, like in a tight space with them for 14 hours,
Yeah.
nothing but making music and trap music, and like you get to really know a person, like really know them. Because when you're on the phone with your friends, this is just a casual conversation, an hour or two. You see them from here to here, but then you go home. You know what I'm saying? I was legit in this car with this girl for 14 hours from Maryland, Virginia, DC, all the way up to freaking Tampa, you know, and then not only that, she was in my entire space for a whole week and a half until she left on my birthday, and she did so much for me. Like, I felt like I just was like, I'm just this awful person to her. She probably hates me. She probably thinks I'm annoying. Like, I just don't think, I don't know why she's being so nice. Watch her ask me for the money back, or watch her do this. Like, I kept prejudging her, and I'd be like, oh, I'll give you the money back. And she would just look at me and be like, okay. I'm like, okay. The hell you mean, okay? You don't want your money back? She's like, I mean, you said you were going to give it back, but I get it. You want to give it back. And it's just like you said, PTSD. Like, I just didn't know how to. And I have friends who did stuff for me, but I guess the bad stuff of the other friends that did to me just made me be like, I cannot. I don't want to take too much. And you know me. I come to the terms like, if I'm over here starving in my house, I won't ask for anything. And that goes along with the PTSD passed on from other friendships, because people train me and take advantage of me. And the same thing with you. I think you just been taken advantage of so many times that you do so much for people that when someone actually does something for you, you'll be like, okay, you're fine. You're just like, okay, you're too nice. What's the gig?
Girl, and when I tell you, I be ready to whip ass too. Like, some days I'm like, I'm not even gonna glue my wig down today because I already know I'm gonna have to take it off, and the bitch, she gonna have to see my Meek Mill straight backs because it's time. Like, I just be in my bag in that way, and I'm like, why am I like this?
It really be like that. You just be like, okay, you want something from me, and I ain't got it. I ain't got no money. I'm broke. So what you really want?
Right, and then you realize that they really just, are just genuine people, and you're like, oh. And then you realize that you're being toxic.
A lot of things, like some friends that you have in your life just did some shady, disgusting bitches, and you just be like, okay.
And they ruin it for everybody. They, like, it's just like with a relationship. Like, the past guy will ruin it for the new guy. It's just like that. Your past friends will ruin it for the people that you love and the people that you should be pouring into and the people that you should be focused on. And it's so, when you think about it, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Like, just going over your life being like, yo, I put so much energy into this person. I didn't pour into this person. And they were here for me from the jump, from day one. And this other person been here since day 352. And I've been treating them like shit. And then you're like, yo, I need to do something about that. It's just annoying. I hate it.
When you're dealing with something for so long, you fall into this routine of just, like, distant people that doesn't need to be distant. And then that's the thing about boundaries. Knowing boundaries between people that need the boundaries and boundaries with other people that you can let in. Because you can deal with a situation where your friend's been jealous of you for this long period of time and you don't know because you're just so used to this particular behavior from these people that you've been so-called friends with, that all of a sudden it just clicks to you like,
or somebody tell you,
really crappy and shit. Like, you bitch, you ain't shit. Like, how did I not notice this?
Yeah. Yeah. Because at some point we're like, oh, that's just how she is. You know, one phrase I hate? That's just how she is, or that's just how he is, or that's just how they are. I hate that phrase because that is not acceptable. It's not acceptable for you as I'm sitting up because I'm about to preach. It's not acceptable for you as a grown-ass person to just accept yourself at that moment being like, that's just how I am. I've always been doing like that. I've always been like that. Let me tell you something.
Thank you for doing that fuck shit because you got
yes.
Someone said, oh, that's just how she is. No. That's how she is to you.
It's just not acceptable, period. It's not acceptable, period. And I think a lot of times we make excuses for other people in their fucked up behavior by being like, they've always been like that. It's like, no. You as an individual need to understand that as an adult, you still have room to grow. You still have a ways to go. So you can't just be accepting like, oh, me right now at 23 years old, this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. If you are the same at 23, at 23 as you was at 22, as you was at 21, as you were at 20, and so on and so forth, That's the problem. Every year, you should look back at the person. Every 6 months, anytime that you can, you should look back at the person that you've been and be like, there's always room for growth. That's why when I talk to people as adults, like people I'm friends with, people I know, whatever, and I ask them, what personal goals, like what are your personal goals? What are some things you want to work on? And they can't think of anything. That's the problem. And I call them out on it. I'm like, yo, nobody's perfect. So there's got to be something that you're not doing that no one has checked you on, that you need to check yourself before it's too late and you wind up lonely as hell, sad, crying because no one is willing to stick around. Or you're planning your wedding and you don't have anybody to be in the wedding because you've been shitty to everyone you know. Like, it's just crazy.
People don't have growth, and that's just the issue. People don't have growth. And when people don't have growth, they have friends who have growth and become jealous.
Yes.
Be careful of underlying jealousy. Now, for instance, let me and you, for example. I am the way I am because that's just the way I am. And you now...
Let me just say, don't say that that's just the way I am. And here she goes talking about that's just the way I am. They don't be listening.
An example. And you now, you're just the way you are, but then you realize that's not who you want to be anymore. You're not comfortable with who you are anymore, and you take steps to reevaluate yourself to be a better person. And then I'm seeing you do better in your life, and then I'm just... there's an underlying jealousy that happens, and it gets missed so easily because that friend stays who they are, but you're progressing, and it becomes jealousy because they see you moving on and then have this animosity against you because you're just so doing better. And it makes me realize, me moving to Florida, I'm listening. I'm in my own lane, and the reason why I'm in my own lane, I'm not trying to cross in nobody's lane and crash. So I'm going to stay in my lane, I'm going to stay in my speed. And now that I'm like, okay, let me speed it up and do something for myself, I see underlying behaviors that I may have missed before, and I'm just like, well, okay, why are you acting this way towards me? Shouldn't you, as my friend, support me like I've done for you and help me grow? You're supposed to grow with your friends. Y'all supposed to, if you grow apart, you're at least growing and understand, like, there's this mutual, you know what I'm saying?
It's a mutual understanding that this friendship's not working. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, like...
Those are the worst kind of friends. And that's what gets us into the actual topic. Look at us rapping. But the actual topic was like the worst kinds of friendships. And hopefully you guys will listen to this episode and you're like, wow, I'm in a friendship like that. Either I'm the problem or they're the problem. We need to talk about it. Because like when I say shake the table, yeah, I'm going to be messy some days, but I actually want you to like shake shit up in your life and realize what's not working. So Toni just made a great point. People that secretly hate on you, those are the worst kind of friends because like she said, you don't always notice it. It's not until either someone else points it out, like someone outside looking in, or if you keep making the comments. Because, like I said, I'm making a lot of changes in my life, and there are people who don't think I'm being authentic. There are people that expect me to be the same crazy low, damn near chasing people across campus. If you know, you know. Chasing people across campus to whip their ass with my wig in my hand. Like, there are people that know me that way, and then there are people that know me now, and they're like, oh, it's not real. She just doing it for the podcast, whatever. But I'm really a different person. And the way I handle situations and the way I make sure shit de-escalates, like, you know what they call that, bitch? Growth.
Growth. But you gotta realize, different people get different sides of you. So somebody may see like, oh, that's not how she really is. But somebody else be like, that's how she acts around me. Like, you don't deserve to see that side that somebody else sees. You jealous, though? Like,
you just say you jealous of.
Somebody is computer shaped ass bitch. Like, mind your business.
Okay, you getting specific, and I think we need to move on because
that's just the thing. If anything you take away from that, be careful of friends that make certain remarks. You gotta keep
frenemies. That's what it's called. And my nana always say people want to talk to you so they could talk about you to other people. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that there are people who want to get close to me because they want to know my life. And people who listen to the podcast with the intent, I mean, I'm still getting the clicks and the engagement, but I've noticed that there are people, and I'm not going to call them out, but they know who they are, who listen to my podcast because they think I'm going to talk about certain topics, or they think that I'm going to mention certain people that I have had falling outs with, or they think that I'm going to just reference some shit that bothered me in the past. And it's like, for me, if it ain't about blessings, I'm not going to address it.
Don't even speak on it. Don't even.
Yes.
ignore the negative. I see the negative, but I don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, no, you can't. You cannot, because any energy that you give is wasted when you could be spending it somewhere else. And so people see that and they're like, oh, you know, she's this, she's that. People are always going to talk about you. You could be on your deathbed and 30 people going to say some stupid shit about you, and there's nothing that you can do. And I say that all the time. So be careful of people that just want to come into your life because they feel like, oh, everything's going right for you, and they want to know what's the secret, or they want to find the one thing that ain't going right for you. And that's why I love my podcast, because I will come on here and tell y'all what's going on with me. I don't care. I will tweet about my life. I will Instagram about my life, and I don't care, because people think that shit is sweet and it's not. Y'all don't know what the fuck I've been through, and I don't look like what I've been through. So people will hate on you and, you know, secretly want to be your friend of me. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Right.
That's ghetto. Like we say, everything is the ghetto.
Stay your own lane and mind your own business. Like, if once you stay in your own lane and you're not serving in nobody's lane, you won't crash.
Period.
You won't crash into unnecessary.
Period, sir. Period.
Jealous friends.
And then speaking of jealousy, this is another side too of like people who are jealous of your other friends and like act real clingy. I can't.
Oh my God, territorial friends. I am not a clingy person, and I'm okay with clingy people because that's how some people's personality is. But you ain't gonna tell me who not to be friends with. Listen, sis. Even if I had a twin, I still came into this world by myself. Shorty just came a minute after me or a minute before me. Don't try it. Don't try it. And I hate people like that who feel like they own you. You're not entitled to me. My friendship with you is not an entitlement. Like, let's get that straight. I'm friends with you because it's just common interest. You love what I love. We got good vibes. We're feeding off of each other. But I am not entitled to you, and you're not entitled to me. You can't tell me, oh, don't be friends with her. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, because she's my friend.
Or I don't like her because of this, so you shouldn't like her, blah, blah, blah. Like, unless it was she dogged you out in some way, or she crossed you in a way that's uncomfortable to me, don't tell me who I need to be friends with. This is not high school. This is not high school. This is real life.
Not even high school. This ain't pre-K.
I don't like her, so you shouldn't like her. It's like, bitch, I barely like you.
Well, I don't even like you. Me like that don't make me want to like you.
And that's the tea. Grow up. Grow up. No, and I noticed that that's like a side effect of having a high maintenance friendship. I hate high maintenance friendships.
Oh my God.
And when I say that, because there may be people who are like, what's that? Low maintenance friendships are the friends that you don't have to talk to them every day. You know, y'all can have a random conversation at 3 a.m. about YouTube videos, or you send them funny posts that you saw, and it's like the bond's still there, no matter what. Like, me and Toni, we've been friends for all these years. We don't talk every day, but if some random shit happen, we text each other. We send each other funny stuff on Instagram. We FaceTime each other. Our families know each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a low-maintenance friendship where she doesn't feel bothered if I decide I don't want to hang out with her this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are friendships that I enjoy. High maintenance friends is, oh, you're always out with this person. How come you don't invite me? Or how come you don't take me around your other friends? Or how come you always hanging out with these people? Or how come? And it's just like, we're not dating.
Listen, high maintenance friendships are exhausted because they want you to not be friends with this person, and they want you also.
They're too involved.
And cool with another person that they were friends with, like y'all friends, but you and that person is close, but you got close to the other person, and they think you're trying to like do this whole like, oh, they're conspiring against me. Even though they're conspiring against me, just say, well, hey, I want you that day, girl, shut up.
Yeah, and that's one thing I learned too, because sometimes somebody will introduce me to one of their friends, and I end up like bonding with the friend a little bit more just because we may have a little more interest. But I'm so glad I don't have friends that like see that and get mad, because like me, there are people that I've introduced to each other and they're closer than me and the other person is, and it is what it is. Like, if anything, that makes me happy, because I'm like, wow, you have created this beautiful friendship with this person. And it's like, you know, not to say if it wasn't for me, but literally if it wasn't for me, then you wouldn't have this beautiful person that is supporting you, is loving you, is caring for you in the way that you need to be cared for and loved. And you love to see it. I love that. So when I see two of my friends that are a little bit closer, or, you know, a lot closer, I don't get jealous. That doesn't bother me. I love it.
There's people out there who genuinely get jealous and be like, oh, you don't hang out with me no more.
Yeah. Everybody's not like us. Yeah.
Like, there's people that, oh, you don't hang out with me no more, are the same people that you invite out on a daily basis, and they just want to say no.
Yeah, that's another thing for me too, and I think that goes into the next point about people who like. I guess it kind of does tie in, but not really. People who always say like you don't invite them anywhere, but they're boring and they don't go with the flow. Like I'm always like every Friday I try to have something planned because that's one of my only off days because I work weekends. I try to plan something, and if you're consistently not in the plans, it's because you either don't know how to go with the flow, and or you're boring as fuck. And I'm here for a good time. And not a long time some days, and then some days I'm here for a good time and a long time. And if you don't fit that criteria, love, I'm sorry. And I'm respectful of that boundary with us to be like, you ain't got to come everywhere with me. I don't even want to send you the invitation for you to decline it. I'm just going to let it rock, and I'm going to text people that I know is going to have a good time, because when my money is involved and my like personal investments are involved, honey.
$20, $40, or how much every amount of money for bottomless mimosas and bitches stand in the corner with a second attitude on your phone all day.
Literally, ass not shaking. Go home. I'll call the lift for you to get home.
I'm ready to ask for food and you out here on your phone. Say, I wonder why.
Right, and it's like, if I'm saying I'm having a hot girl summer and you're having a lukewarm, bitch, stay home. Stay home. Or if you want to be arguing with your nigga at the function, bitch, you should have stayed home. I don't even want that energy, because like I said, I don't want to. Listen, I'm not dealing with it. So So those people that are boring and just it's not a good time. If you're not good vibes, I'm not going to invite you anywhere. And I'm telling you on this podcast, just like I told you to your face, you're not invited. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't even know what the fuck I'm apologizing for. Literally.
I know people who are invited out multiple times, even offer to pay, and they'll be like, oh, no.
It's always something.
They just be like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Why did you invite me?
Oh my God, yes. When you go out with people and they be ready to go in like an hour, you be like, what the fuck are you here for? But yeah, if you're boring and you don't go with the flow, I'm never going to invite you anywhere. Unless it's my birthday and I feel like it's an obligation to invite you. If I don't text you every Friday and ask you what you're doing, sorry to break it to you, love. True life, we're not that close. And then the next one is people who expect your support but don't want to give theirs. Bitch, that's a hot take. Because people will expect you to buy their little musty ass t-shirt designs. They want you to the iron-on letters. They want you to pay for a service for them that if it was anybody else, they wouldn't pay for it. If I like to think of it from literally, and you look stupid. So I think that there are people who expect your support for their weak ass products, and like if you're not putting out quality content, if you're not like producing something that I would feel proud supporting or putting on my page, I'm not going to do it, and I'm not sorry about that.
And those are the type of friends that, like I was talking to you about, that comes in entitlement, because they constantly think that you're supposed to only support your business. So when you go into another business, it's like a stab in the back.
Oh yes, speak on it.
I have multiple friends that are doing the same business adventure. Should I not support them too? Calm down.
I hate that when they be like, oh, you bought from this person, but you didn't buy from me. Let me tell y'all something. Stop fishing for support. This is something that I tell myself all the time, too, when I get in my feelings about, people not listening to me on my podcast, or, like, I'm not getting feedback. Stop fishing for support. This is me talking to myself. Stop fishing for support. Stop asking people to support you. Let me tell you something. If people want to support you, they're going to fucking support you. If you selling some shit, and if they want to buy, they're going to buy. If they don't want to buy, or they don't have no money right now, understand it. Don't take it personal. Stop taking shit personal.
You should start fishing support outside of your friend group.
Well, maybe you need to get your promo up, and maybe you won't have to fish for nothing. It's marketing.
Fish for nothing. That's the thing. This is the thing, right? People who are fishing for support only fish for support inside your circle. You are not going to expand your business inside your circle. Yeah, your friends can only do as much. Like, my homegirl does this, my homegirl does that, my homegirl does this. But you need to step outside that group and get other clientele.
Know how to network.
Maybe if you were getting booked and getting clientele like you are so supposedly, we're not going to worry about your friend who will go to John for the cupcakes.
Yeah.
So you got out here
That's a good point because I've learned that myself. If I'm not going to market my shit, I can't complain about nobody wanting to support me. If I'm not going to keep posting my episodes every 2 minutes, if I'm not going to keep inviting different people to speak on it and whatever I need to do to get my word out there, I can't say nothing to nobody else. Because at the end of the day, one thing I'm learning, you have to be your biggest supporter and be your biggest advocate and be your biggest cheerleader. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Not even your mother. Yeah, your mother loves you. She's supposed to show you unconditional support. But even your mother can't support you the way that you can support yourself because you know what your talents are. You know what your skill sets are. And the only person that can market you is you. Period. Right. So don't expect nobody else to market you in the way that you can. So you need to tap into them skills and say, okay, do I need to, if I'm selling shirts, do I need to stand outside? Do I need to do pop-ups? Do I need to be in Facebook groups for designers in the DMV? Like, what do I need to do? Do I need to call news stations and see if somebody want to come out to this pop-up event? Do I need to sell? Like, how can I sell myself? And if you're not doing all that you can in exercising your, like, I shouldn't say exercising, but like flexing those muscles and those skill sets, if you're not willing to put your, like, free time aside to really prioritize your success, then don't say shit about it. I'm not going to say don't worry about it. Don't say shit about nobody not supporting you. Because people will expect you to buy their weak-ass collection knowing that they wouldn't pay for it themselves. If it's in a beauty supply store and I can find it and you're charging double the price, I'm not paying for it. Sorry. If you're selling hair that I could get from AliExpress and I don't want to support it, I'm not going to support it. I'm sorry. Hot takes. If you're like me and you're podcasting and people can't relate, then they can't relate. If you're talking about current events and your takes are lukewarm and we can get them on Twitter and even Facebook, no, they're not gonna subscribe. They're not gonna listen. So leave it at that. Don't fish for support.
You can't only run your business off of just family and friends.
You cannot.
And that's where people get it twisted in their head with this whole support thing. If I say to you, hey, post my hair on your page, and you do it, thank you. Somebody out of your, because all of a sudden everybody got 1,000 followers now. Somebody out of your 1,000 followers, and most top people who have 1,000 followers, only 200 of those people are actually active users. Mm-hmm. So out of those 200 people who are active users, there's going to be about, I'll say 90 that saw that post, and you're going to at least get about, I'll say 30 people out of that post that see it. And out of those 30 people out of that post who are well interested, they're going to compare your price to the next person. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get people out of that. That's how that math goes with social media. Know your algorithms and who your target audience is. So if your friend is your support system, yes. So if they post, know who their target audience is and who's going to see and who's going to come back to you. There's been plenty of times that I've done someone's hair and that person promotes me and I get at least 2 feedback like, how much do you charge? I love what you do. And boom, I get a client forever. It's how it works. So stop depending on your friend group as a money bank.
And then to switch gears a little bit, another thing that bothers me too is when people don't respect a boundary. I talked about it before, and then when you say no, that means no. Like, I literally, because I talked about setting boundaries, people think that, they thought that shit was a flex. I'm like, no, this is real life. Like, I told your ass, leave me alone. I told you stop asking me for help with this if you're not willing to change anything, if you're not willing to do anything about it. I told y'all.
And you got to be careful with that. When you tell people no, and they cop an attitude like, oh, it starts getting all wound up with you. Okay, goodbye. Thank you. And thank you for coming to my tech talk. Next.
I'm weak. Yeah, because I think it's just one of those things where it's like, either you're going to grow with the people or you're going to grow out of it.
It's all it really is about.
And it's okay. The thing is, it's okay. Like, people need to realize, when you were in high school, you saw them 5 days a week. You know, you decided if you wanted to see them on the weekends or not. College, you probably see them every day because you either got class with them, you live with them. You know, everyone's on the campus, so you have access to all these people. But when you're an adult, you got to decide, like, do I really want these people to have access to me? And at how much? At what point? When? You know, is it only going to be, I'm only going out for birthdays? Is it going to be an every week thing? Like, you really have to sit back and go through each and every one of your friendships and decide what y'all going to be on. And I know that sounds really intense, and some of y'all are not confrontational people, but it's not even confrontational. It's really just taking a look at your life and being like, I don't like this friendship is too high maintenance. Huh?
It's really just certain friends for certain events. Like,
Yeah.
really those
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, you know, I know she's gonna be lit if she comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have those group of friends where I'm like, it's always a good time. I have those group of friends where if I'm sad, you know, they're going to help me with solutions. I have friends that I could call and just be like, I just need to vent. I need you to listen, because they're great listeners. It's okay, because I think if you try to find that all in one, you may realize that that person's not perfect, and you may like get a little bit disappointed in that. But for me, I'm just like, hey, I just want, you know, you to be loving and caring and support. Like, what I need from friends is like it's not that much. It's like I'm really asking for the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if
maintenance friend. Like,
yeah, and I love that.
I'm low maintenance as well. Like, I'm not gonna say like I don't have time for people, but I just don't have time. I don't have time for myself. Like,
Yeah, look at my damn schedule. I slept 7 hours in 30 out of 36 hours. But I'm still taking the time to, you know, check in on you, make sure you had a good birthday, checking in on my friends who I know didn't have such a great weekend, checking on people who parents passed away this time of year, last year, or, you know, stuff like that. And so you really it just comes from whether or not deep down you're a good person or not. It really does. And if I see something in you that's like a hint of darkness, or I see something in you that's like, you're not a good person, for me, it's so easy for me to be like, all right, I can't do this. Sorry. And people get mad, they get offended. But, I mean, it is what it is. Like, if I genuinely feel like you're not serving me, and if me not talking to you, my life feels better, I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing for shit anymore. Unless it's like it really needs to be. Like, granted, I am going to apologize when I know that I'm wrong, but I'm saying I'm not going to apologize for shit that I don't need to see. You know, somebody say sorry, and you be like, what are you sorry for? Because they just say it because it's a habit. I'm not doing that shit no more. I'm not going to keep apologizing, and you will be okay if you didn't get my apology. What's the point? What's the point?
Like, they just want to hear it just to prove a point. Like,
And I'm not doing that. Sorry. The West Western is next door.
I'm above it, man.
I'm so, bitch, I am above it. Like, I can't.
Like, I'm weak. I'm weekend. I'm next week, okay? I'm weak in the knee. Like, come on.
What is she even talking about, y'all? Toni says anything. God damn, Jamaican school systems. It's like, no, but girl, this was a good episode, because I just feel like you really let something off your chest for year 25. Girl, I literally love you. I love having you in my life, because you are a goddamn fool. You are a fool.
That's a fresh air. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
No, not Jordan Woods. Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown. Hand breathe. I don't know that song.
No air? Okay. On that note, bitch, you're getting no airtime. Like, you're getting no airtime. Good night. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Love y'all. Catch you next week. Bye.